everyone, welcome back to Lotus Me Bloom podcast. This is the podcast where I talk about my life and navigating through adulthood and just trying to figure it all out, just like we all are. So let's dive into today's episode. I'm going to be talking a little bit about my college experience and just talk about some things I wish I would have done differently. You know, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, when we get older, we're like, damn, why did I do that? Or why didn't I do that? And I want to kind of make this episode things that I wish I could have told my younger self, even like past college, just some things I wish I would have done different. So let's start out with just talking about college. So I never had any desire to go to college. Like I truly did not think about it probably until I had to, because I wanted to be an actress growing up. Like that was my main goal. That was the only thing I saw. I didn't think about anything else. It was acting or, buff for me. Like it's this or nothing. And I did not know how to go about that. I had looked into a lot of different things growing up, like auditions and backstage, and I was just so confused by it all, and almost even paid, acting agencies to, sponsor me or whatever the case is. That shit's a scam if you're into the art world at all. If you're like younger version of me listening and you want to be an actress or performing arts, like that is a scam. Never pay for anyone to represent you. So anyways, I started to look into like acting colleges, act like BFAs and acting and theater and stuff like that. And I realized that they all were in like LA. And honestly, growing up, I already had it in my mind that I was moving to California. Like that was it for me. I did a report on California in 5th grade when we had to pick a state. That was it. Like I just knew it in my soul. My parents honestly were kind of prepared for that. Like my mom was always like, oh, she's going to move away. Never going to see her again. And obviously life didn't go that way. But yeah, that was it for me. It was like this or nothing. And so I did look at some colleges like online, and I had stuff, sent to me from colleges that I actually had called. Like there was a school in California. It was like Columbia something acting. I don't know. I can't remember now, but I remember calling them and be like, is this possible? Like, yeah. So anyways, I looked at some colleges. There was a acting school in New York. It was workshops. It wasn't where you got a degree. It was like New York Film Academy. And I had gotten a lot of stuff from them. And I did a report like my senior year of high school on one of these colleges, because I never really wanted to admit that I wanted to be an actress. It was never something I wanted to put out there, which is just sad. And like I've talked about that. I just always felt like people were going to make fun of me, or like I was stupid for thinking that way. And it's stuff that I have worked through and like actively still working on too. But I started to like say I was going to go for video editing. Like that was kind of my, I guess, way of like fitting in, but like not putting myself too out there where like I'm gonna get made fun of, because like everyone knew I made videos, everyone knew I did YouTube, and I made music videos, and like I liked that set. And honestly, one of the reasons I started YouTube in the first place and why I wanted to start it was because I wanted to act. And I did music videos before copyright was a thing, because I loved building a story with the song and then making it like, like a whole movie production type of thing. So that's really the reason behind all of those, which you guys can't watch them anymore anyways, because copyright and stuff like that. But that was the reason. I remember asking my mom in like 7th grade, like, Mom, can I please make a YouTube channel? Like, please, please, please. And then eventually, I had made one for my media class, which I loved. I loved my media class. It was in 8th grade. And that's where we learned Photoshop and how to use like Movie Maker and stuff like that. And I was like, this is my thing. Like, I love this. So like, it wasn't that I didn't have interest in video editing and stuff like that. It just wasn't like my main objective of like, this is what I want to do, you know? In high school, I actually was offered a videography position for a photographer. So I did do a couple weddings in high school. So just that was like what I was known for. It was kind of like my backup plan in a sense. But we're going to talk about like vocational school and stuff like that here in a second. But I wish I would have went to vocational school, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. But I had got accepted for hair cosmetology school, and I didn't go because no one else was really going, and I just wasn't sure because I was in all these advanced classes, and you know, people kind of made it seem like if you went to vocational school, like you weren't going to be taking like the smarter classes, and like, you know, if you wanted to go to college, it just is more of a trade and all that type of stuff. So I kind of got talked out of going, and I do believe everything happens for a reason. I think if I would have went, I wouldn't have been friends with my friend that I am now. We became friends my junior year of high school, and that's when you leave for vocational school. So like I said, believe it all happens how it's supposed to. But a lot of people expected that out of me too. They expected me to like do hair and do makeup because my YouTube videos turned into makeup and makeup tutorials and reviews and stuff like that. So I originally started like my YouTube with outfit of the days and stuff like that because I was like, I don't know nothing about makeup. But then I like delve into that world. But anyways, getting off track. So I truly didn't know what to do, and I still felt out of place. Like even my senior year, like, you know, everyone's going to be like a doctor or some other like professional type of thing, and I'm like over here, you know, going into the art world field, you know, where dreams go to die basically is like how people make it seem, you know, like, oh, you're not going to make a living doing that, you know, being creative. Like there's so much stigma around it, and I'm glad that we're kind of getting to the place in time where it's actually like way more accepted, and you can really thrive doing something creative. Obviously, like look at TikTok, look at YouTube, all of that stuff. So honestly, that was my goal too. I was like, I would love to take off on YouTube, but you know, high school was really rough with my YouTube career channel. Like I really let other people get to me, and I didn't post as much as I wanted to, or I would take stuff down. And maybe I should just do like a podcast episode talking about my journey on YouTube, because obviously like here I am sharing, because it does play into it, because like I never wanted to go to college. That's the main point to all of this. I felt like I had to, though. I didn't know what else to do, and so I looked at places. Like I had a friend that his family went to a college in Florida, and I actually was able to tour that college because, you know, my mom approved because she knew his family and everything. So we went and toured it, but that was like the only exception of my parents like being okay, like, okay, you can go out of state type of thing. But logically, I was like, okay, this school's like what, probably $30,000-$40,000 a year, and I'm gonna get a theater degree, and what am I gonna do with that? You know, like I didn't want to be a teacher, and I didn't want to do like performing arts. Like I liked theater. I did theater when I was a senior in high school, because honestly the theater teacher never let me really audition or like be in the plays, because if you were in sports, he was like, no, I'm not dealing with your bullshit, basically. So since I took one of his classes my senior year, he let me be in the fall play. So I was like so happy about that. And yeah, it wasn't something I wanted to do, though. I wanted to do more like on camera, screen acting type of stuff. So that was the only exception. But the thing is, my parents did not have money to send us to college. We didn't have a college fund. My sister wasn't able to go to the college she wanted to go to. And honestly, like, I wish I would have went away. Like I remember watching like all of Alex Earl's stuff, like especially when she was talking about her college experience and stuff on her podcast. And I remember being so sad, like, man, I didn't get that college experience. Like I wish I would have went away. And like, I think I was always kind of meant to get out of my hometown. I think my people were out there for me. Like I always was kind of a loner, and I feel like I could have made like those forever friends in college, but I didn't get that experience because my parents did not want to co-sign for us. And honestly, like, no hate, no shade, because that's crazy. Like, the amount of people I know personally that went to college and like dropped out within the first year or so and like in $40,000 in debt, like that's insane. And so they had our best interests for sure, but also like they knew that that would fall on them if I didn't make the payments. And I'm glad I went the way I did. Let's be honest. Okay, so what I did is I went to a community college, and I did not want to go to this college, y'all. Like, I was fighting my fucking family, fighting. Like, it was just so below me. I was just trying to get the point across. Like, this is how badly I did not want to go. Like, I was not going to go to this freaking college where I stay at home and drive to classes. Like, that is so stupid. Like, that's just how I felt. And it was so, like, it was crushing my ego. It was crushing my pride, because I wanted to go to a college where I was going to get the full experience. I was going to, become an actor, whatever the case is. I wanted to get the fuck out of Ohio. That was my like thinking. Like, I felt like I was settling by going to a community college. Anytime my parents brought it up, I would fight them on it. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not going. Like, I remember having like fights about it. Like, I don't think it was like actual like arguments, but I remember just being so upset and triggered by it, and I like go cry because like it was not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to go do something that was something I actually wanted to do. And this community college I went to didn't even really have anything that was of my interest except electronic media. And it was a 2-year degree. That was it. That's the thing. Like, this college like didn't have anything like creative elective wise for me that I could even go into. I think there might have been like an arts degree, but like that was definitely like not the path I was trying to go down either. So I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna go here, like, senior year stuff, when it's like senior night and they're like, oh, Madison Ansel, she's going to da 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 da. That's what I put down, because I was like, I don't know what else to do. And whatever, I decided to go because I thought, okay, financial decisions, that's smart, right? It was only like, I don't know, $5,000 a year. And I had gotten some scholarships, so nothing crazy. Like, I wasn't like that smart. Like, I had good grades, but it's always like the same 2 people that got all the scholarships. So my dumbass, I'll get to that in a second, but I decided to go there because I was like, okay, my sister went here. My sister got her master's and was only like $30,000 in debt. She's a therapist. She got her master's in social work for $30,000, which is insane, right? Like, now, like that I'm older and I understand, I'm like, that's insane. Like, that's like 1 year for most people. But she got her first 2 years for free because she like scored like a certain number on the ACT, right? So I was like, fuck it, I'll go. It's going to be free. That was the whole like real push of me going, because I was like, okay, I'm not going to have to pay anything, because obviously like student loan type of thing. My parents, we were like middle class, and they made too much for me to like, get free college or stuff like that. Or, my parents were together, so I didn't really get any benefits with that. So that was my whole like reasoning of going. So I scored like a 17 on the ACT the first time around, and I was like, fuck. Like, I think my sister scored a 21, and that's like what got her approved for her 2 free years. So I took it again, got a 21, and I was like, done. Okay, cool. Well, the year that I went, they raised the standards. So it was like you had to have a 24 on the ACT. So I didn't get the 2 free years. I was like, fuck me. But honestly, regardless, I still have not paid off my student loans, by the way. Like, it's just not something that's main priority to me right now. But I'm only in like, I don't know, $10,000, $12,000 in debt. And that's insanely good, because like I said, the college I was looking to go to, like, there's a couple colleges in Ohio that there was one I really wanted to go to, but it was private. It was $40,000 a year, but they had like a really nice theater program. And the community college I went to, like the actual main campus, I did get accepted to their theater program. So I would like to have went, but everyone and their like mom was going to this college. Like it was basically like my high school was going to this college. So I like refused because I was like, no. Even though I think it would have been a fun time. I think I would have enjoyed it, but I'm glad like I saved money. I just wish I would have, you know, got that college experience of like living away from home and meeting new people. But I just kind of felt like if I had went to that college, I don't know how much new people I would have met because like so many people I already knew was going. And that really was like not the main factor. It was money. So I went to community college and honestly, like I enjoyed it. I kind of reminisce on that part of my life just because you never know, like when you're in it, you're in it. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, oh, I'm sick of it. I hate this. And you don't really enjoy where you're at in the moment. But honestly, like it was so laid back. Like as someone that's in high school and everyone's like, oh, we're preparing you for college. Like college is so hard. Da, da, da. No, it's not. College is like, obviously college classes can be hard, but college itself is like a breath of fresh air. College is nothing like what high school teachers tell you it's going to be. It is literally so laid back, so chill. I literally rolled up in like sweatpants almost every single day, except for like the first day of college. And then I realized like, oh, I'm way too dressed up. It's literally so laid back. And like, I had people that I knew from my high school go to the same community college. And I remember like the first day or so, we're all like, this is fucking great. Like they don't give a shit if we're here. And that's the thing. I think that's where it gets hard is like, if you're not there, they don't give a shit. Except for I did have one college teacher. He gave me a hell of a fucking time. A hell of a time. Every day, like why you late? Why you late? And I was like, oh my God. Like, or if I did really bad on a test, like he would low key call me out on the whole class, and it was a full class. He'd be like, well, some people, you know, didn't do very well. Madison, why don't you do your homework? Like, oh my God. Because let me tell y'all, okay? I did not take college seriously. I wish I would have a little bit. I wish I tried a little harder than I did. I just didn't want to be there. Wasn't happy. I was also going through a lot, like mentally. Like I was just like in my party phase, you know, stoner era. I just did not give a fuck. So yeah, that was the only teacher that like gave me some hell. But like my actual major was pretty cool. Like it was super laid back. There was only like a few of us. So my major, you could either go audio video, or you could go the audio or not audio, video, digital media route. So I wasn't sure at first. And then I took it was like a website building class. Man, that shit's fucking hard. If you guys know how to code, you know, I'm clapping over here for you because that shit's hard. And I didn't want to apply myself. I think I could have done it if like I actually tried, but it also was like an 8 a.m. class and it was online. Like we would go in class and the teacher was teaching at another community location. And so she was online, so she couldn't come and like show us what to do. And luckily I did make friends in my degree. And it was funny because there was like two or three girls and like the rest were guys. And I remember the first like week or so, they're like, are you sure like you're in the right classes? Like, are you sure you're in the right degree? Like, you don't seem like you fit in with us. Like, you seem like you are a cheerleader or something. Like, we're all nerds. Like, we play video games. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like however people have perceived me is not me. Like I'm not like a huge gamer, but I've always loved gaming. Like I was back in the day, GameCube was my shit. Me and my cousin, I grew up with boys. Like my cousins were my best friends and we played GameCube like it was going out of style. And unfortunately it did go out of style, but like so much Mario, I did get into Xbox a little bit. I don't like scary games. I like cozy, fun games. I realize that's my niche. Like that's my like choice of game is, you know, fun stuff. I did go through like a phase, like, I don't know, in elementary, like middle school, of, COD, shooting and all that type of stuff. But some of the stuff is a little scary for me. And like, I like playing those type of games with somebody else. But like, if I'm going to play a game, it's like Animal Crossing, that type of vibe. But I like am so into that. Like I said, grew up with boys. Like we grew up playing like wrestling games on the PlayStation. Like that's me. So I'm not what meets the eye, I guess, for some people. And they were just like so confused. Like, this isn't right. Like, you don't seem like you belong here. And I was like, no, yes, I love makeup. I love dressing up. I love being a girly girl. But I also am like, I'm a weirdo at heart. I'm a nerd at heart. Like, I love video games. Like, let's be friends. And we did. We all got along and we honestly had a lot of fun. Like, we would have gaming parties. I think I only went to one, but mind you, they all lived like close to the college. I lived like 30 minutes away. And I remember one time we all brought TVs, like these little mini TVs and our own Xboxes. And the one girl I became really close to, and she was just, I don't know, I love her so much. We're not close anymore, but I truly like have nothing bad to say about her. She honestly like fed my inner child, because in like the nicest way possible, she was just kind of like a kid at heart. Like, she loved video games. She just like, I don't know how to describe it, but like when we'd hang out, I remember I stayed at her house and it snowed and she was like, let's go like sled riding. And I'm like, what? Like, I haven't went sled riding since I was like 8 years old, but okay. And so like, that's just how she was. Like, her family was really cool. And I just had so much fun with her, and she just was the sweetest person. Like, truly, she never like said anything bad about anyone. She would always give me hugs, and I'm the type that was like very much like, oh, I'm weird about that. Like, I've always been like that. I'm not a touchy person, and she would always just be like, I'm gonna hug you until you like it. Like, she just was so fun. And I wish that I wasn't at the place I was back then. Like, if I was me now and we could hang out and like just have fun, like, I think I would have enjoyed myself more, because back then I was like hardcore partying between classes. Like, sometimes I'd be rolling one up and going on a back road or something. Like, I just was kind of a mess, honestly. Like, it's kind of disgusting to see pictures of me back then, like of Snapchat. I like first into college, like I had my long blonde hair like I do now, but then I chopped it all off like October, and it was very drastic of a change for me. I think that I was going through some stuff, like went through a breakup, whatever, and felt like I just needed to like reinvent myself, and it just was so not me. Like, I had short hair like up to here. I dyed it like red, like off of The Notebook, her hair, and then I dyed it like brown, and eventually I went to blonde, but I just was not myself at all. And I wish I would have appreciated that time more, and with those people more. Like, there was a Subway by our community college, and we would go there like all the time. There was a gym at the back like of our community college, and I would go there. I loved that gym so much. Like, that time of my life, like, I don't know, I cherish it now. I didn't cherish it then, but I would go to the gym like every day and like sit in the sauna, because there's a sauna at the gym. Like, I wanted it to be over, but I wish like I would have appreciated it a little bit more. But those people, like, they were just so much fun. They really were. Like, I learned so much honestly through them versus what I learned in college, because like the video class we had in college, like, our professor was so old. I love him. We had a different professor as well. That was for audio, and he was great. I actually, like, it was weird because he was in barber school with my brother recently. Anyways, let me backtrack. So, audio, video, and then there was audio or video and digital media. And like I said, I had friends to kind of help me out, but I ended up dropping out of that coding class because I was like, this shit's too hard. Like, I don't want to go down this route. Like, this just seems terrible. And I also had this like desire to make music. I always like wrote lyrics, and since I was younger, like I remember writing lyrics when I was a young kid, and I don't know, I think that might have came from my dad because he did the same thing. So I used to write a lot, and I had this desire to make a song, still do. So I went the audio video route, and I had other friends that did. My one good girlfriend, she did go the other route. So I think you had to take at least one audio class, but like it was just very intro. We took audio class where we had to do radio shows, and like I was so lazy with everything, y'all. I was so lazy. College was bad for me, honestly. Like I did not apply myself, but we just like take songs from a CD, and we would act like we were on a radio show, like, oh, that was this by this artist, and now coming up, that type of thing. It was fun, and it actually was on like our local radio. There was like a school radio that I guess we could have listened to, but anyways, so I went down that route. I really enjoyed the audio because I did learn how like Pro Tools worked, and Audacity. But the thing is, I learned way more from like my peers. Like my one friend, he always mixed music. Like that was he had like a SoundCloud of just like mixed beats. So like he taught me stuff about that, and like if I had a question about like, hey, how do I fix this on my computer, like I just went to them. And like I remember filming like a commercial, but like the video stuff was already stuff I pretty much knew how to do. It was very intro class, but the audio stuff I really enjoyed because our audio teacher, he was young, he was tatted up. Like it was like, I just always remember being like, this is dope. Like he had, I don't know if it was bands or like record labels, all like tattooed very traditionally, kind of like the shirt I'm wearing actually, very traditionally on like both of his arms. And he cussed, like he was super laid back, and it makes me feel bad because like my actual like main professor, he was older, and he just always said the same thing, and a lot of people would always walk out of class. They just like would not listen to him. Like they'd just be like, okay, like because we always like watched a video in his class at the end of it. But like he was cool. I remember him talking about he would drive, like before there were cell phones or anything, like to Tennessee. I think he said to like listen to Elvis, if I remember this right, or he met Elvis, or he saw Elvis, and like I don't know. I think he's still alive. I hope he's doing well. I know he has a book about audio out, and like we did things that were like knowledgeable, like voice actors, and talking about brands, like you are a walking brand, and things like that. There was a journalism class I had to take, and I realized how stupid I am with that. But my audio class, like we would always like watch videos. Like I remember we watched like a whole documentary or something on the Beatles, and like just like record labels, and like kind of how you would put your music out there, because like my audio teacher was I don't know if he was in a band, but like he had his own, music and stuff like that. So we would record him singing, and I have videos of that, and it was fun. It was like, it was laid back, but it was fun. I don't think anyone I know is doing anything with that degree. My one friend who did go the digital media route, she went for communication, so she got her 4 years. And I did have to take a public speaking class, and that teacher did like say how I should go on for communications and how I'm really good. And I just, I don't want to hate or like shit on anyone that has like those type of degrees, or it's just, there's some stuff that it's just a little bit harder to do anything with. And I already, after the first year of college, was like, I'm out. Like, I hate this. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, this is terrible. But I was like, okay, what's one more year? Let me finish out, actually get a degree. So I do have an associate's degree. On my actual degree, it says applied sciences or something like that. But I just did not apply myself. Like I said, I was smoking a lot of weed. There'd be times in between classes when I'd have a break, I'd roll one up and go smoke and come back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I honestly look like a dirt ball every day. Like, hair greasy, I would wear a hat all the time. And I remember being so embarrassed one time that my marketing class, I had to take my hat off for a test, and I was so embarrassed because my hair was greasy. And there was one time that I never went to bed the night before, and I'm pretty sure I was still pretty like tipsy or something the day. It was just bad. It was bad. I partied a lot, me and my friend, because my best friend also went to community college, but she went somewhere a little further. But yeah, we would just party. We would go to our friend's house, and my friend that lived by me is where like our meetup spot was, and we would just drink all the time. We'd drink during, weekdays and when we had school the next day. And yeah, I was just a little partier. I was a little crazy, and that's just what it was. Like, I can't imagine if I actually went away to college. It's probably good that I didn't, because I needed someone to try to keep me in check, but that was hard to do because I just was a little rebellious person. I also really started to party because I was coping. I was very depressed, like my senior year of high school, and I just started to party after high school, and that's just kind of, like I said, how I coped and how I dealt with things. Obviously not healthy, but I started to smoke weed, and like that was just like, oh yeah, like I'm fine, I have these things to make me feel fine. So it was a little bit of a downward spiral because of that. I was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to like graduate and just get this behind me, because I don't want to do this anymore. I realized I hated school. I never was meant to like go to school. It was just something I did. And so immediately after I graduated, I looked into going to hair school, cosmetology, but I wanted to be an esthetician, and most of the schools are combined anyways. So I actually went to like an orientation, and I said I wanted to be esthetician. I didn't want to do hair. I never had desire to do hair, and that's one of the reasons I did not go to community college when I got offered, because it was mostly hair that you were learning. And so I made that clear to the woman, and she kind of talked me out of it. She was like, you should do both. Like, you're not going to make money doing just esthetician type of stuff. And honestly, like, it kind of sucks that that's how it went, because that was kind of before I feel like estheticians really started popping off in my area. Now it's like almost oversaturated, because that's like what everyone does. And I think if I was to go back now, like I would want to go down like the acne type of like facial realm. When I was going more for like makeup and stuff like that. I didn't necessarily want to do waxes and, that department, but, I really loved makeup, and I wanted to do more of that. And now, like the esthetician I see specializes in acne prone skin, and I think I would enjoy that aspect of it. But yeah, so she talked me out of it, and then I was like, well, I don't really want to do hair, but maybe barber school. So I was like, well, I would rather do men's hair, and I'd like to know how to do men's hair so I could do my own kids' hair. I just assumed I was going to have boys. I don't know. I might still. But the guy that I was communicating with, he was supposed to open up a college for barbering. And this was 2018, mind you. He did not open it until like 2 years later. So at that point, I was just like, well, that's just not even on my radar. I don't want to do something that I don't see myself doing for the rest of my life. And that's like where I was with it. And fun fact, my brother actually just graduated last year from his barber school, and he's barbering. He's doing great. And I think now too, there is like some stigma with, women being a barber. And, I also didn't really want to deal with that, and having to deal with like, maybe men hitting on you or like degrading you, whatever the case is. But my brother's doing great. And like, that's kind of what motivated me to like make this, is because he is doing so good for his age. He just turned 20. But I'm like, he's so set up. He has no school debt. He saved all the money that he got from his graduation party and used it to pay off his schooling. And they didn't have like loans or anything because it wasn't like, oh, I can't remember the word, but like now I'm sure it's going to be like $20,000 a year, but it was reasonably priced, because I think it had to be out of pocket or something like that. But he got it paid off. He saved like all of his money from his summer job that he had prior. And he's just set up, man. Like he already has clients. Like he's making bank at his age. Like when I was his age, I was working at a ice cream shop, like having $400 paychecks every 2 weeks. And this is where like, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have, done something a little different. Or, my dad always said like, put 20% back of your check. And I just, I don't listen very well. And I obviously have to learn things the hard way, but I also wasn't making that much money. And I don't know, like I just wish I would have set myself up a little bit better out of school, because, I don't want to say college was a waste of time, but I feel like if it's not something you're passionate about or you have any desire to do in the future, like just don't go to college. And I think there's a lot of stigma around like going to college. I mean, not as much anymore, but like, I don't know, some people look down if you don't. And I think I felt pressured into just doing it. But trade schools are like, I think amazing. I think more people should look into doing trade, especially if you're not quite sure what you want to do. Like maybe take a year off before you decide to go to college. Like my brother was not sure what he wanted to do. He was going to just like take a year off. And I think he might have. Yeah, he might have. I'm not sure. He took a little time off, I think. And then he like joined barber school like late in the year. Like he didn't join like when everyone would be going to college, but I think that's like really smart to do. And I just wish like I would have maybe chilled out for a second. If I knew what I knew now, I would have just taken acting classes. But like for me, I just, $300 back then was like a lot of money, and to like take an acting class that was $300 that I didn't have, I feel like I could have managed, you know what I'm saying? Like if I would have known, or like if I didn't go to college and be like, I probably could have gotten help. Like, hey mom, you think you could like, instead of get me this for my birthday, can you help me go to acting class or something? I wish I would have done that. I researched acting classes in like 2017, I think, but when I was still in school, but they were like 1.5 hour drive. And at the time I didn't have like the best car, and I was making like $200 a week. So like, it just wasn't really doable. But I wish I would have just done that out of high school and not went to college. And I wish that I would have just like focused more time on like my videos and stuff like that. But I also was just not in the greatest mental state where I feel like I could make content, because I do have videos that I privated on my YouTube channel of that time period when I was still trying to like post, and like I definitely was probably high in some of them, and you can just tell like I just was a mess. So maybe that, way of thinking, it's like, okay, everything does happen for a reason. I don't think I was in the place to like do anything else, but I just wish I would have maybe went to hair school straight out of college. But I just, my thinking was, okay, I just gotten like $12,000 in debt, and then I'm going to put, another $20,000, down to it if I go to like cosmetology school, because, those bigger schools are 20 grand. And that was also something I was like, I don't know if I want to do for the rest of my life. And here I am like 26 still thinking like, man, I wish I maybe would have done that, or like I still could do that. And people tell me like, you can still go to school, like it's not too late. And I'm like, yeah, but like it was something I wanted to do when I was younger, because it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life. So I just don't want to take a year out. And this is how I was thinking also at like, 20. I was like, oh, I just don't want to waste my time, even though like I wish I would have because it's different, like being 20 and then being 26. Like I'm getting closer to 30 every fucking day. So I'm just like, well, I wish I just would have set myself up a little bit better and just had that. But honestly, at the same time, I do believe everything happens for a reason. I could see myself going to hair school and then doing it for a year and then quitting. And then, I know people personally that are very similar to me, of like, they are a yoga instructor, they're a massage therapist, but they're not doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it's nice to have that like trade, or it's nice to have it underneath your belt though. And I think for me, I've always wanted to do so many things. It's hard for me to choose just one. I would like to like say I experience that and I have that, but honestly, the quote of like jack of all trades but master of none used to really trigger me, because I felt like that was me. I was like, oh my God, I don't really want to do anything for the rest of my life. Like even Reiki, like I love Reiki, but it's, obviously I've decided that's not something I want to do for the rest of my life either. It's very taxing, mentally. And if you're not in a good place, it's hard to want to like provide that service for other people, and help them. You can't help other people if you can't help yourself, type of thing. So but it's like, I'm glad I experienced it. And I so badly wish I would have done trade school when I was in high school. And honestly, that like my thought process when I applied was like, I can do this straight out of college, or straight out of high school, and then, work on being an actress and, doing those type of things that I want to do. I'll have money and I'll be set up. And then I just got talked out of it. And truly, like, I think I probably would have hated it. I heard like that program had a lot of drama. And you have to make all new friends and you kind of fall off a little bit, even though like I didn't love high school and I didn't love the people I was around anyways. Like that's why I became friends with the friend I am now, because I was trying to venture out and like reach out to other people that I didn't really talk to. And like I said, it all works out how it's supposed to, but I think I could have thrived doing that. And trade school was like 30-minute drive though too, so that would have been a lot too, driving back and forth. Like, I mean, that's what I did for college. And there was definitely times where I was like, oh, I'm so sick of driving over here. Like, this is terrible. But I do wish I would have done it. I think like the second thing I had applied for was like a digital media class. And some of the people, or one of the guys I went to college with was in that trade school class, and he was already doing stuff for like our local radio. And he was like, we don't make any money like doing this. Like I work for the radio and like I don't make any money. And so it was like a lot of, I don't know, it's just like a lot of the local stuff that you could get paid doing was like nothing at all. It was like, minimum wage, if that. So it was like, what's the point of having a degree if you're already doing something that is in that field, and a lot of my friends in college were like, you should stream, like, especially you being a girl, like I think it would really like put you apart and stuff. And here lately I've been thinking about streaming. I'm like, I think that would be so much fun, because I kind of got on the streaming side of TikTok and I love watching just people stream and play Animal Crossing. I'm like, that would be so much fun. But like I said, I go through these phases where I'm like so into whatever I'm doing, and then I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I'm kind of afraid to like start that and then like not want to do it. And like it wouldn't be like a full-time thing or like whatever. It'd be something I would do on like my own personal account of just being like, hey, I'm online, I'm streaming, but like don't expect all of this out of me. Like my videos aren't going to just be streaming. Like it's going to be me talking and doing my makeup or whatever. But yeah, I wish I would have like just had that underneath my belt and went to trade school and just did that out of high school. Now, it just doesn't really feel like great timing, because for me, like I'm a server now, and I have, even with jobs, been like, okay, after a couple of years or like after a year, I like want to do something different. Like that's just who I am. I don't like to stay in one place. And maybe that's a toxic trait of mine, but I'm going to be there for 2 years in November this year. So I've been there for like a year and a half. And honestly, I was like not expecting to be there for a year because, I have other ambitions in life. And I would love to, start making money acting. That would be great. I need to get my headshots and need to get some stuff in order. But anyways, I'm like, okay, I'm coming up on 2 years. But like for me, I'm not going to do anything like irrational, or I don't want to leave where I'm at until it's like the thing. You know what I mean? Like until I'm making money off of my podcast or online or whatever the case is, then I'll leave. Like I'm tired of moving around. I'm tired of trying different things and bouncing around. Like I want this next thing to be like the thing. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at right now. But I just wish I would have like told myself, back then, like, you don't need to go to college. It's not, a need. It's not like all that it is portrayed to be. And obviously no shade to people that go to college. And this is me in no way, shape, or form trying to discourage anyone from going to college. If you have a career that you need to have a degree in, obviously go to college. Like, I'm not hating on college. I wish I truly would have had that college experience. I wish I would have been able to like go away and experience that. But I honestly think I probably would have hated it too, because I hated school. And then so basically I would have been paying to just live somewhere else and like maybe meet other people. If that's not always the case. I think Alex Earl's college experiences are very like ideal. She met all her great friends, but that's not how everyone's college experience is. And yeah, I try to look at it from both angles of like, okay, I probably would have hated rooming with someone because I'm very like particular. I don't like my shit touched, and like I wouldn't have wanted to live with someone that's messy. And yeah, I mean, I wish I would have had that experience, but at the same time, I don't think it's for everyone. And obviously, like I said, if there's a career you want and you want to learn more about it, go to college for sure. But school is just not for everyone. And honestly, if you are in the arts field, I don't think you need a degree to do what you want to do. If you want to act, most actors don't have, bachelor's degree in theater. I know people that I've been in acting classes with that went to really nice colleges for it, and it doesn't really make a difference. So obviously, like, it's nice to have that knowledge. And I do wish that I had more of that knowledge of like the history of like acting and like the theater and things like that, because I did enjoy like my theater class I took in high school, but it's just not necessary. It's not something that you need to do to get you to where you want to go. And, my mom and dad both don't have degrees, and my dad started his own business. Like, you don't need a degree. And honestly, I wish if I was to go now, I wish I would have went for like something a little bit more like, I don't want to say practical, but I guess that's the word. Like, I would have went for like business or marketing or something. Even though a lot of that stuff, like, you can learn on your own too. Like, when I started my business, like, I learned all that stuff, by myself, by watching videos, talking to other people. I don't feel like that's the only way. And I think there is, like I said, some backlash, and just some people look down on you for not going. And I think we're like changing all of that for sure. Like, I don't know if it was changing when I was going, but definitely now I think people don't like look at it as badly. Like, I remember even girls that wanted to go to hair school, like, their parents would give them so much shit because like that's not a real job, quotation. Like, there is some stigma still out there for sure, but like, it's not the only way to be successful. And I think college can be a really big waste of money and time. I did not learn anything. Like I said, I learned more from my peers in college than I did my actual professors. So that's kind of my little spiel on that. But I wish I would have went to trade school. I wish I would have, had that set up for me. And if I could go back and give myself advice, is like, maybe get a waitressing job. Like this is my opinion, but I don't think I could ever go back to an hourly job. Just when you work something that's like you get your money, it's hard to go back to that. And especially if you've ever been self-employed and having that freedom to work for yourself, it's really hard to go back to hourly. So I wish I would have told myself to like try to, either waitress and stick with that, or try the self-employed route. I did eventually in 2018. I caught a job working at a shake shop for Herbalife, and I wish I wouldn't have like started how I did, because I did go into debt for it and learned some mistakes there as well. But like that was the first job that I felt like I was making decent money, even though I was putting a lot of money back in. But also waitressing is great. Like a lot of people hate on waitressing, but let me tell you, there's reasons why people are there for like 18 years. Okay. My mom was a waitress for 18 years because, well, her job offered insurance, but also the money's good. Like there's a lot of waitresses that are making more than people that are hourly. So don't hate on your local restaurant servers that have been there for so many years, because there's a reason. Like I know people that have degrees that waitress because it makes more money than whatever they were doing. And that's kind of where my like head is now too. It's like I don't really want, yes, I guess the stability of maybe having insurance or having that, same amount of pay, because it is feast or famine with waitressing. You don't know if you're going to make good money that week or not. And there's definitely been some times where I did not. But like you could be making pretty good money where you could like be working at a 9 to 5 and not, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like my mindset. I know it's not everyone's, but like that's where I'm at with it. So I'm like, don't hate on your servers, because they could be making way more than you, and you're working a 9 to 5 and getting paid, $15, $18 an hour. Like I think a lot has changed too. Obviously the economy fucking sucks now, and which I don't even know if it ever was great, but it's not quite the same, and cost of living is hard. And like I think it is smart to like live at home. I still do. Like if you have the opportunity to do so, I think that's okay. I used to really beat myself up about it. But if you like have the opportunity and your parents still want you around, like save up your money so you can like buy a house instead of just like, renting. And, obviously I'm not trying to give any type of advice, because I'm still trying to figure the fuck out. But like what I'm trying to say is like, don't give yourself so much shame about, where you're at in life, especially if you're in your 20s. We're still figuring out. And like, it's okay if you don't have a degree. It's okay if you're still working at your waitressing job and you live at home. Like some people don't have that opportunity, and some people don't have that privilege. So be thankful for it. And also, people that are maybe on the opposite spectrum, like don't give people shit for doing that, because, some people like their family, and I think some people just get upset because they're like, well, my parents wouldn't let me. Like I was kicked out at 18, and I get that, because I have friends that are like that. But it is difficult. But at the same time, like if you have the opportunity, it's really hard out here, y'all. Like rent is crazy. I remember when my sister rented, like it was like $500 a month. No, now it's like minimum $1,000. Like, and then pay isn't anything better. So that's my little rant on that. I'm done talking about that though. But anyways, I just wish I wasn't so hard on myself, and I wish I would have like given myself time to experiment. And I think I have. Like I have done the things that I put off, but like it wasn't until 2020 and pandemic happened where I was like, okay, life is really fucking short. Let me take this acting class, because I kept putting it off. Like I'm going to make it happen. So that was kind of my wake-up call, and I think it was for a lot of people. But I wish I would have done that from the start, I wish I would have known what I knew now and like just done those straight out of high school, and like I would have been a lot further along, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think you have to go to college if you are someone that's like in high school and like is really debating on what to do. But if your heart's not in it, your heart's not in it. If you don't like school, that's okay. Like, we're not all meant to do that. We all are meant to just do what lights us up and is what makes us happy, because I think that that is the purpose of us being here. And I know that's kind of deep, and I know that like older generations don't understand that. They think like, fuck being happy, like you got to do what you got to do. And I think there's a balance to that. Obviously, like, you don't want to be lazy and like not work, but at the same time, I love that Gen Z is kind of breaking that stigma of like, you have to just work all the time, no matter if you're, happy or not. Now, I know there are some situations where you don't have a choice, but in those situations, you can just try to like also set yourself up to like do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, try to make some time. And I know that it's easier said than done, and I live at home, and I know I'm privileged in that area, and people don't, have that opportunity to like still like figure their shit out. And like, I'm not saying I love what I do. Also, I just want to say that like, I don't love waitressing. It's tough mentally, physically. It's very fight or flight. And I don't love that, but I'm working on trying to create something that I do love that is going to be sustainable for me. But obviously, I'm doing what I need to do, and like doing the thing that I don't always want to do. And sometimes really don't want to do, but I do have bills. So yeah, I love that we are breaking that stigma, because like, just honestly, how society is in general is just so fucked up. Like, it's almost like we're made to be miserable. Like, we're not set up to like do what we love and like be healthy and happy. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I hate being like that. I don't like, I'm not trying to be negative, and it's all about perspective, but like, there's more to life than like what it is. And I believe in like doing what makes you happy. And I think ultimately, if you don't do that, like if you do just try to like press up against the grain and of what your body's telling you to do or what your heart's telling you to do, and you just do what's expected out of you, like you end up really fucking miserable. And so that was my wake-up call in 2020, because I did feel like when I went to college, it was like I had no other choice. What else was I gonna do? Everyone else is doing it. I look like a piece of shit if I don't. So yeah, let's do this. And then, I went to a college thinking I was gonna get 2 free years, and I didn't. But I wish I would have set myself up, and I wish I wouldn't have spent so much money either. I wish I would have put money back. And I did experiment. Like I said, I did videography for a little bit. I definitely can say that I've tried different things, but I do wish I would have went to like trade school. And I know I can still do it. I know I can still go to cosmetology school, but it's like, damn, like I'm getting closer to 30. And if that's something I don't really want to like build a clientele, or if I do build a clientele and then be like, all right, peace out, y'all, like making money off my podcast, sorry, you're gonna have to find someone else to do your hair. Like, I don't know, that's how I look at it. I'm gonna still push for that. I'm gonna still push to try to make money doing online stuff and still continue to act, because that's what I like to do. But I wish, like I said, my brother is so set up right now. I am envious. I really am. I wish I would have told myself to just do what you love and just block out everybody else. And I tried. I really tried. I really did. I kept the acting stuff so sacred and so close to my heart, to the point that it was probably kind of damaging. But it is hard when you do like creative work and things in the art field because people are like, okay, good luck trying to make money off that. And so I think we are getting to a place though where it's like way more accepted. And also a lot of people are fucking thriving. So let's not hate on people that do creative work or want to do something in the creative field, because one, it's needed. Okay. Like life would not be the same without creative people, without art, whatever form of art that is, music, acting, actual painting, like whatever that is, life would not be the same without it. So stop hating on people that are creative. Okay. Because I've just always been that type of person. I don't love book work. I don't love all that, but I can create something. Like, let me do that. And I think we're getting to a place where people are realizing like, yeah, we can do this. We can make money off this. People, and with social media and TikTok, like it's so much easier now. Like you can post your artwork on TikTok and get it out there. You know what I mean? Like there's just so much more opportunity, and I'm happy to be here for it. But I do, like I said, I wish I would have like just did something a little bit more like practical of like, okay, trade school would have been $800 compared to going to cosmetology for 20 grand. And I would have been able to do that and work on my art type of stuff and not be so like bouncing around and trying to figure it out. At some point I had 4 jobs, and it's like, just because you have more jobs doesn't mean that you are making more money. So I wish I would have learned more about my finances for sure. I mean, my dad tried to help me, but it's just, like I said, we're not taught about this shit. We're not taught how to manage finances or how to do our taxes or anything like that. And I learned how to do a lot of that stuff, and I'm still working on my finances, but I had to learn it the hard way. I had to get into debt to learn shit. Like I didn't need to do that. And a lot of that was like spiritual beliefs too, of like, oh, spend money and it'll come back to you. But like I said, I'm here learning, and I just wish I also wouldn't have given people my time and energy at that age too. I think I wish I would have really valued myself more and loved myself more and believed in myself more. That led into my spiritual awakening and healing my past trauma and stuff like that. But like, I had no like belief in myself. I truly, like, to not get so deep, but I'm going to get deep here. I decided to go to community college because I just didn't see a future for myself, period. Like I didn't see a future for myself in general. Like I was very depressed, and I gave up on my dreams. I gave up on pursuing acting. I just was like, well, whatever. Like I'm just going to do what I have to do. Like it is what it is. Like I just gave up on everything. And I wish I wouldn't have. I wish I would have had that hope and that faith for myself. And I wish I would have known the things I know now about law of attraction and manifestation and self-development, and not giving so much of myself to other people that don't deserve it. I wish I would have stopped, pouring into men that couldn't give me fucking 2 minutes of their fucking time, or I hate that era also. Like I said, I wish I would have appreciated the whole college stuff, but like at the same time, I blocked a lot of those years out. Like 2017, can barely remember. Maybe it's the marijuana. I don't know. But like also trauma, just like I was in a bad place. I really was. And like I said, I barely passed, period. Like I remember my marketing class, it was easy as hell, but I got like a D. And they say C's that get degrees, no, D's actually do. And that's where I was. I just got to the point where I was like, I have to pass, and that's it. I just got to get this degree and I'm done. I did not apply myself, like I said, and I was going through a really rough time, and I was hanging out with terrible people, and I was drinking, partying, doing all the things. I just did not love myself. I didn't. And I, like I said, was giving my time to like men that treated me like shit. And it gives me the ick, like there's times when you look back and you just fucking cringe and you don't like to think about it. Like, that was my time. There was a lot of that for me. There was a lot of like, oh my God, like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why was I that way? And when I had the spiritual awakening, because all this led up to it, I sat in a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And I was like, I cringed so hard of like, why did I do that? Why was I around those people? Why did I date that guy? Why did I let that guy have access to me? Where was my self-respect? And I wish I could go back and just fucking like find that girl and be like, bitch, come over here right the fuck now. Like, let me tell you about yourself. Let's get the fuck together. Go wash your fucking hair. Like, go put some makeup on. Like, let's go for a fucking walk. Let's fucking talk, because I just really was stubborn and hard-headed, and my parents tried. They did. They really did. And hindsight's 2020, and like they would just be like, oh, what are you doing? Like, stop doing this, stop being with these people. And like, I just was like, no, fuck you guys. Like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like, I'm just trying to live my life, just rebellious. And I realized, like, when I did have a spiritual awakening of like, what actually fucking matters, and my family matters, and the people that were always there matters. And so I went from like partying, hanging out with all these people, to like instantly never leaving the house, hanging out with my family, because there's a lot of shit that I missed because I wanted to be with my friends. So there's a lot that I wish I could have told myself in that era of like, yeah, stop caring what other people think, but also care a little bit. God damn. And I honestly, I blame a little bit of my antidepressants, because I was so numbed out to the point like I just was not myself. And then I added, partying and all that into it, which you're not supposed to do on antidepressants. And like, it just, I think, made it worse. Because I was numbing myself out, but I was already fucking numb. Like, it was a mess. And my sister always would joke like, you turn your humanity off if you watch Vampire Diaries, then And I really did. Like, I stopped caring. And once I got off my antidepressants, that was the year that I had my spiritual awakening, because I got a little bit of anxiety back, and some anxiety is good. So I just started to become aware of like what the fuck I was doing. It took a minute, but like, we all live and we all learn, and like, I had to go through it, but I just wish I would have known what I know now. It's always hindsight 2020, and obviously that made me who I am today, but like, fuck, I could have had it so much easier. Like, and like I said, the college thing, it had to do a lot with like mental health and where I was too, but like, you don't need to go. If you don't want to go, don't go. Take a year off. And I know so many people that changed their major like 3 times, or didn't even finish college, or like they're doing what their degree is and they hate it. Like, it's just, really think about it. Do what you want to do. Don't rush into it. Don't let other people make you feel like you have to do something. And there's always a fucking way. And that, my friends, is what I wish I really would have known, is that there always is a way. And I have to remind myself that too sometimes, till this day, is that if there's something you really want to do, someone out there is doing it. Okay, so that means it's possible. And there's a fucking way to figure it out and to do it yourself. So yeah, I don't want to keep rambling, because I feel like you get the gist. I know this was like more actually about my college experience than I thought it was going to be, because there's definitely like other things I wish I would have known, I guess, in other aspects of like, if a man is telling you how great you are and how beautiful you are, but he's not ready for a relationship, but he wants to like claim you in front of all of his friends, but then like gaslight you and tell you that, we're just friends. I don't know why you're getting upset, but then literally post you like, girl, I could do a whole episode on that. But like, yeah, there's different things I learned, and I wish I would have just, like I said, overall had more self-respect, and I wish I would have had more belief in myself and in my future. I just kind of gave up, and I think a lot of that, like I said, had to do with my mental health. But if there's a will, there's a way, and there is always a way. If it's so outlandish and something you feel like you can't achieve, I promise you, someone out there is doing it. And if they aren't, who says you can't? Who says you can't? Yourself, probably. Your friends and family, who cares what they say? Because what really matters is what you feel about yourself, truly. And I've said this in so many episodes, like the relationship with yourself is the most important one, because at the end of the day, like you have to sit with yourself and your thoughts. And you know, if you don't believe in yourself, you can't just be fueled off of other people, like saying, hey, go Madison, yeah, like that's not gonna work, because eventually, you know, that's gonna die off, and then you're sitting with yourself. So yeah, there's lots of things I learned, and there's lots of things I wish I would have done differently, for sure, you know, but it is what it is. Here we are. But, you know, if you're like in high school and you're debating this, hopefully this helped you. Honestly, I don't obviously regret going to college. Like, I had a good experience. I'm glad I met the people I met. I'm glad I had the experience, but if I had to go back and do it again, would I have went? Probably not. You know, like I said, it all happens how it's supposed to, but I don't think I would have went. I think it was honestly a waste of time and money, and like no one that has my associate's degree is doing anything with it. It might look good for like if you're trying to get a job at a bank or something, but yeah, and no shade if you want to go. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. I'm just trying to be there for my people like me that are creative, don't like school, and don't want to do college and pay a bunch of money to do nothing with a degree. You know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to put some perspective out there, and also just things I wish I would have done differently. I would have set myself up a little bit better financially. And I think trade school is fucking amazing. So stop hating on people that do it. And yeah, that's kind of the moral of the story. I wanted to share this. I've been wanting to share this just because I have learned. And like I said, there's definitely things I like look back and I wish I would have done differently. I wish I could have had like the actual college experience, but maybe for like a semester, you know what I mean? Like, or maybe I wish I had a friend that went to college. Like, I know a girl that she always goes down to her friend's college and like she does the college things, but she doesn't go to college, you know, like, I don't know. There's lots of different things I wish I would have done differently, but I probably wouldn't be who I am right now today. And like I said, if I would have went to trade school, I probably would have never gotten close to the friend that I am friends with now, because we met my junior year of high school. We still did like dance team and stuff together, but I just don't think we would have been close because we had a class my junior year together that we like talked more in. So yeah. And funny part is that like me and her have always had the same type of job. Like, she was always the one that was like, hey, we're hiring. Like, and we've always worked together. Like, one of our very first jobs ever, like I said, ice cream shop, we worked there when we were like 16. And, you know, a different serving job when I was in college, I worked there with her, not as long for sure, because I was a little fuck up. And like I said, bounced around a lot. But now here we are again, years later. She's like, hey, we're hiring. And I've been there for a year and a half now. So, you know, we've always worked together. And like I said, I think it all happens how it's supposed to. And sometimes we just got to go through shit to learn it and be the person we are today. So anyways, that's my little rant, I guess. I'm sorry that it was drawn out, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story time, and I hope that you guys had a better experience than me. But yeah, let me know what your college experiences are in the comments below if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, come over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and you can see my face. If not, you don't have to. I know people prefer the audio. I was for a very long time that type of person where I didn't want to like convert over to watching the videos, and now like that's the type of person I am. But make sure to subscribe wherever you're watching, and if you're on YouTube, leave a like, leave a comment. If you're not on YouTube, I would love if you could give me a 5-star review if you enjoyed today's episode. But I will talk to you guys in the next podcast episode. Bye, guys.